fighting by coming and listening to a fucking band play? Are you guys fucking kidding me? Are you guys kidding me? This is what it means to freedom fighter, to come and listen to a stupid band and sing and dance.
Greetings world. We are the AEGIS Alliance, with anonymous allies.
Who wants the credit for an event like this? It's a joke! You guys are a joke! This is a mockery!
A so-called leader in the Canadian vaccine mandate and passport opposition movement protests, named Chris Saccoccia, may actually be nothing more than controlled opposition, meant to sow divisiveness and chaos, in what would otherwise be a non-violent and peaceful movement if it weren't for him. Chris is pushing the opposite of bringing people together. This is nothing like the massive peaceful protests for similar causes that have currently been taking place all over Europe. Chris is making the anti-vaccine movement look like a bunch of nut jobs, and the vaccine misinformation and false conspiracy theories aren't helping, it only divides people further. Hating someone just because they're vaccinated, or unvaccinated, solves nothing.
Make no mistake, man, you are the reason we're in this mess. You better go home and apologize to your wives, apologize to your children, because you haven't been men. You have been absolutely pathetic little bitches. And I'll tell you, and you can come fight each and every one of you right now if you want. I don't give a shit, because I'm not scared of Canadian pussies.
Whether you're for or against the vaccine mandates and passports, these are affecting people's livelihood. Humanity will get through this if we come together. The longer we stay divided, the longer we'll have to deal with this. Even the police are on Chris side, which is more reason to believe he is controlled opposition of a divide and conquer strategy.
This is how disgustingly brainwashed and how pathetic Canadians are. And I'm sorry I'm going to use that word pathetic. I love you all. I love you all like children, because that's what you are. You're literal children. You're not adults. I can look at every one of you. I can look in your eyes, and I can see right through your souls. And 95% of you are children that never grew up, and are parents that don't look after their children the way they should.
On November 7th, Chris and Jenny ordered their cult members to drive around their local international airports very slowly, in order to try and delay flights, but it only ended up delaying traffic, and airline passengers from catching their flights. Regardless of how much money it could have potentially cost the airports, the demonstrations did more to piss off airline passengers and their fellow citizens than they did to delay any flights. These people were taking flights for a reason. What if a person needed to be transported to a hospital who was dealing with a serious medical issue? Or if a person wanted to visit their dying relative one last time? An elderly mother or father who hadn't seen their children in a few years. Wedding plans, vacation plans, etc. Now those people potentially missed their flights, but they wanted to take for very important reasons.
By next week, we are planning a convoy event on November 7th called Jam the Airports. And we're trying to get every Canadian who is upset with what's going on to voice their concerns by getting in their car or truck and driving to every major Canadian airport around 3 o'clock on Sunday, November 7th. And simply get in your car, as many friends as possible, drive to the airports and drive around in circles. That will cause hundreds, if not thousands, of flights to be rescheduled, relocated. It will cost the airlines billions and billions of dollars.
That isn't a protest demonstration, it's domestic terrorism. Chris can't even catch a flight himself, because he's on the no-fly list. He has to drive around Canada just to make it to his speeches full of anger, rage, and hatred. He might as well be called Chris Dirt Road, anything but Sky. Can't call him Chris Bus, because he's banned from riding on buses. Can't call him Chris Choo Choo, because he's banned from riding on trains. Chris Dirt Road is a nickname that suits him well.
Yes, I am an asshole. You know I'm an asshole? Because I have the fucking balls to stand here and tell each and every one of you to your face the truth that you lie to yourself about every day because you don't have the balls.
Due to online extremism, domestic terrorism, and vaccine disinformation, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wants to change laws, or propose new laws to combat against it, and Chris Dirt Road is partly to blame for that.
is no doubt the digital space has incredible power for good. But from disinformation on vaccines to online extremism, we've also seen the threat it can pose to our democratic values, systems, and our citizens. We can't allow the benefits of the digital space to come at the expense of people's rights or safety. That means taking real action to protect our societies against polarization and radicalization while defending the rights of citizens online.
While Chris Sky makes a comfortable living off of giving speeches at protests and rallies, he doesn't actually contribute any money to the movement himself, and his greedy ways just make him look like nothing more than a grifter.
Chris Sky doesn't even want to answer his supporters' questions or concerns. He says you're all idiots.
Literally thousands of phone calls every goddamn second with fucking stupid people asking the same stupid fucking question. Stop calling my goddamn phone and asking questions I've already answered. You fucking idiots.
This leads us to our next point of Chris Dirt Road and his fellow cult leaders, selling NFTs for money by using the iconic Guy Fawkes masks of Anonymous. They claim to be anonymous themselves, but they don't actually have any understanding of what the idea and movement of Anonymous is. They try to say they're anonymous because they support freedom, but don't have any idea of what Anonymous actually stands for.
And I come here and see a bunch of fucking pathetic children singing and dancing and having a good time, like it's a goddamn party. Honestly, none of you deserve this shit right here. None of you deserve any of this merchandise. None of you deserve my team to be here.
The creed of Anonymous is sort of the unwritten or unofficial rules or guidelines of Anonymous that were first conceptualized by the old school Anons, known as "We Are Anonymous," which made state, national, and international headlines multiple times back in the golden era of Anonymous for their justified hacktivism operations. There are a few especially unofficial cardinal rules, or guidelines, in the creed, that should not be broken, such as, no making money in the name of Anonymous, no supporting politicians in the name of Anonymous, and that Anonymous has no leaders, or members. That there is no official Anonymous, and no Anonymous headquarters. That Anonymous is not a political agenda, but it does instead, have a human rights agenda in some forms. Anonymous certainly does not subscribe to QAnon like Chris Sky and his minions do. If half of what Q says is true, and half of it is false, then Q is a psyop. Our Anon allies stand together on this, and against Chris Dirt Road's ways of sowing division, such as, We Are Anonymous, Anonymous Legion and its Anon page owner, Anonymous Worldwide and Anonymous Bites Back with Mark Lubbers, Anonymous Red Cult, Crooked Cops Anonymous, Anonymous Forever, Rebellious Legion, Secret Anonymous Idea. At Like Mods on Twitter, Anonymous Intel Sec, our Anon friends and allies in general, and many others. Chris Dirt Road will try to say that we're merely government shills, but that isn't going to work. Chris Dirt Road, Anonymous is definitely not a government shill, and neither are we, the AEGIS Alliance. You've broken the unofficial rules of the Creed of Anonymous, and the real Anons all stand against you. You aren't bringing people together with peace and wisdom, you only further divide them by angrily raging about war and violence. Chris Dirt Road and his minions are far from being anonymous. AEGIS, in the AEGIS Alliance, stands for, the Activists, Alliance for the Exposure of Government Intelligence and Secrets. They are anonymous, they do not forgive Chris Sky's threats of domestic terrorism, his grifting, and breaking the creed, and they'll never forget it. You should have expected the Legion. We do not claim to be a leader of the Legion, the AEGIS Alliance has anonymous allies.
Thanks for watching. Please like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and remember to click on the notification bell to be notified about our new videos.